in the stands at First National Bank Field before the first game on Friday with Blake Butler, new skipper for the team this year. Blake, I talked to your dad a few weeks back, a little while back. He said he remembers Blake back in his younger days. He said he felt like he was really committed to baseball. He said he wanted to be a baseball player, starting out young, went over to Greensboro Batting Center, started doing some work there. Talk about how you got going in baseball back in your younger days. When did you feel like you make this commitment and this become a lifetime operation for you now?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely starts with my dad. You definitely talk to the right guy. It definitely starts with him. And my parents are great about letting me play whichever sport I wanted to, as much as I wanted to. So we did a little bit of everything from basketball to football to baseball to swim team, you name it. But baseball kind of became the passion and just happened to be the one that I was a little bit better at than the other ones. And so we were committed, taking trips after school up to the field to hit as much as possible. And then it really becomes about friendship after that. You have good teammates that are your age that you kind of grow up with. And there's a good handful of guys that I was lucky enough in the Southeast Guilford area to kind of grow up alongside, and still good friends with all of them today. And so it was our favorite thing to do, was hang out and play baseball, and so that's what we did.
And you think about it, Southeast Guilford Falcon teams you played on, you could almost put a professional team on the field, and all those guys you had yourself, you had Josh Tobias, you had Reese, you had Newton, you had Austin Bain, you had Barker, you had on and on the list. Just keeps rolling, all those talented players. That was a heck of a team you guys were together with.
Yeah, it was. Tons of excellent memories, as I said, with that group. From the highs and the lows. You think about the wins, you also think about the losses, but ultimately you think about the people that you went through it with, and I was very lucky to grow up in an area with such good people.
You go on to college at Charleston, play there, and you beat some pretty good Elon teams back in the, I remember one year you guys beat Elon, maybe the conference tournament, just a huge win. You had a big tournament at that time too, so some big college memories too.
For sure. I got to give Coach Kennedy some credit. He's done an excellent job over there at Elon. We definitely took our share of losses with the wins, but had a great experience at college at Charleston. I think it was good for me to get away a little bit, learn a little bit something about myself, and was lucky enough to have some excellent coaches there that helped me develop and get to the place where I am today.
And go back to the days when you made it to the minor leagues. I think you were in the Cubs organization. Is that
Reds,
right? The Reds. Yeah. Because you were down with Daytona, right?
That's right.
Yeah, because Daytona had been the Cubs and the Reds, the Tortugas back in the day. Remember the last game you played, if I remember correctly, I tracked you quite a bit back in minor leagues. That last game you played, you played first base, second base, third base, shortstop, catcher, pitcher, left field, right field, and also center field. Played every position your last game.
That's true. Yeah. I didn't know it was going to be my last game at the time. Unfortunately, got released that offseason. But yeah, coming into that day, manager Ricky Gutierrez, who's now at the big league staff with the Nationals, called me into the office and said, "We got to figure something out." I said, "What do we got to figure out?" He said, "Well, we got to figure out how to get you at all 9 positions tomorrow." So, sure enough, threw the catcher's gear on for the first time since maybe middle school, and was able to get all 8 in. Picked up my first career save in a 4-2 game, and it was a really, really special experience that I'll cherish forever.
Is that kind of a foreshadowing maybe of you becoming a manager, since you know all the different positions on the field? You should be able to coach positions too, possibly.
I don't know if I would give that much credit to it. I think it was we didn't have a great team that year, and we kind of wanted to finish on a high note, and luckily we were able to do that, and it kind of energized the team there for that last day. It gave us something to play for. But I'm extremely grateful for the opportunity I have now to coach. I try and pass the rock to my staff as much as possible. We got a great hitting staff, a great pitching staff here that does most of the positional stuff, and I just kind of oversee and make sure that everybody's in the right spot. But yeah, I'm grateful for those times with the Reds, and grateful for Rick for getting me in there for all 9 that day.
Kind of a two-part question. When did you realize you wanted to be a manager, and when did you get connected with the Pirates?
I started with the Pirates in 2020, actually just before COVID. I was coaching in college at the time, and got an interview, and decided it was the best move for me at the time to go to the professional level. As a manager, I've had some good managers along the way, coaching under some good managers, and really since them and some of the other leadership within the Pirates organization has kind of encouraged me to think about what I want to do in the future, and encouraged this as a potential opportunity for me. And so have started to think about it, and ultimately they decided like this was the time in my career to take that step, and so I'm super grateful for them to
a lot of people look around, they hear about Blake Butler today here in 2024. They don't realize sometimes you were here earlier too, a couple years ago. You were one of the coaches here, kind of kept under the radar at that time as you were developing as a young coach, but you were here working with the team a few years back.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I was in the hitting staff we had a really good team that year, went to the finals and lost in a deciding Game 5. Several big leaguers that were on that team, so great experience to go through that and get to be in my hometown then. And certainly even then didn't necessarily think I'd be right back up here managing just a few short years later.
And you come through, and last year I think you were at Altoona, Double A last year, right? Mm-hmm. What were you doing in there at Altoona last year?
Same thing that I was here. I was in the hitting space, managing our player plans and trying to get our guys to the next level, trying to improve them and get them ready for the big leagues. So great 2-year experience in Altoona in Double A. It's a challenging level, Double A, but learned a lot.
And you think about it now, as you look at the team, talk about the staff you have working with you this year.
Yeah, we have a tremendous staff. We added a new pitching coach to our organization with the Pirates, Matt Myers, coming over from Lipscomb University over in Tennessee. Has some history in the area, was a pitching coach at UNC Wilmington, has done a tremendous job everywhere he's gone. Our hitting coach, Jonathan Prieto, was here last year, does a terrific job with our players. He'll have those guys locked in, ready with an approach to go on Friday night. Casey Harms will be the bench coach and also work in the hitting space as well. He's my right-hand man in game, which is nice to have being a first-year manager. And then Ethan Goforth will work with our catchers. He'll coach first base. You'll see him out there coaching first, and just does a tremendous job with our catchers and making sure that we're ready to go.
Talk about the players we might see this year. You have some guys begin the season. Some of those guys hope they're not here long, they want to move up. But some guys that are coming back this year, maybe some guys that are new here this year, are going to be guys to watch, players to watch.
Yeah, I think you got to start with Friday night starter. Hunter Barco is going to be throwing for us, a University of Florida player that's going to be his first full professional season, coming off of some injury. But we're excited to see him throw, excited to see him compete. I think the city will be excited to see him throw on Friday night. Another SEC arm, Patrick Riley, will be throwing the next game, a Vanderbilt arm who can really run the velo gun up there, so some electric fastballs coming from him. So that'll be great. We got some great returners in the bullpen, Cy Nielsen being one of them, Jack Carey being one of them, some guys that had some success last year that we're excited to see again. And then on the position player side, you got Jack Brannigan and Jamar Johnson returning, 2 tremendous bats that'll be playing on the infield, which we're excited to have near the top lineup for sure. And then some new additions as well. You'll have Lonnie White, who'll be making his Greensboro debut, and Mitch Jebb coming up from Bradenton last year, who had some success there. So it'll be a good mix of veterans and new guys that we're excited to run out there and see how they do this weekend.
I know you want to shake the hands of Jamar Johnson, Jack Brannigan. If those guys are here to stay with you, well, you'll be happy to have those guys, right? As long as you can keep those guys there. Those guys came here last year.
Yeah.
They were here for a short period of time. Is Josiah Seitler, is he back this year too?
He is.
So you got that boatload of guys that came in last year from Bradenton into the year. Those guys really were contributors automatically.
Yeah, for sure. And as you said, I do not want them here. I want them in Altoona. We'll be doing, as a staff, everything we can to continue to develop those guys and get them ready for the next level and beyond.
What about Nick Samila? He here too?
He is, yeah.
You got the core 4 that came in from Bradenton, exactly.
That's right. We're excited to see what they got.
Well, listen, good to talk to you today. And if I could mention some names like Charlie Panel, Dave Beasley, Charlie Gamble III, the 4th, and all those Southeast Guilford Roundup people.
Smiles out of me, yeah.
You got to love those guys.
Absolutely, and super grateful for every name you just mentioned and what they've meant to me in my baseball career. And I'm excited to see them along with many others in the stands this season.
So if you get in trouble this year, just go to Bob's Curb Market, walk around the parking lot a few times, and you'll be in good shape.
That's right. Tell Chris that he needs to get me in line.
I guarantee you. Chris and Blake and the entire Butler family, thank you for your presence here this year and coming back with us, and we appreciate your time today too.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.